Welcome to it, sports fans. The MKT Show. I'm MKT. Man City will destroy you, they said. Man City will destroy you, they said. 2 times now, Thomas Tuchel has basically taken respect from the Premier League. It is a different season, folks. When Chelsea won the FA Cup semi-final, I said we're doing the double. They all laughed. They all laughed at me. But here we are. Man City will destroy you, they said. What a great weekend to be alive. What a great freaking weekend if you're a Chelsea fan. Just an awesome weekend. We've got a new face on the show today, and I thought we'd just get straight into it. I'll start off with coffee influencer, after guy, person who also enjoys editing, set up the studio. He's got douchebag glasses, fake Jurgen Klopp guy, James Ellingsley. James, what's going on, pal?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good, and you, James? Well, how was your weekend?
Phenomenal.
Did you spend it with your lady?
I didn't. I saw my best mate on Friday night, and then the rest of the weekend I didn't do much.
Interesting you say your best mate. Haven't seen him in a couple of months.
Since end of last year.
So you say your best mate, but does this guy live in Brazil? What's the story that you haven't seen him? I mean, best mate is a little strong, I think.
He actually lives about 20 minutes down the road.
So best mate is a bit strong, obviously, in what you're saying there. Is it just so that you can tell people you have a best friend?
We grew up together. We have been friends for about 12 years now.
But it's 5 months without seeing the lad. So best mate might be a bit strong. Or you
we got busy and carried away with our lives.
5 months and it's your best mate. Speaking of best mate, I was with my best mate yesterday, right? Because I actually have a best mate.
That's nice.
And it's sad. It's sad that we have to introduce him to the people this way, but I have to go this way, right? I consider him family, a little nephew, and he's interning with us. So we'll be giving him a hard time, you know what I mean? He's the new guy. He's got a bit of a hip-hop look, got the dreads, got the baby face, you know what I'm saying?
Vibes.
Yeah. So ladies, I don't know if he's taken, but he can speak for himself. He's a little young though, so I'd probably have to vet some of the ladies that'd be, because people are thirsty out there, James. It's not just because it's hot in Africa. There's another meaning of thirsty. I'm not really ready to describe this to you right now, but Karabo could just, be another piece of meat on the market, and I'm not going to let it happen because he's not just a piece of meat, you know what I mean?
So you got to interrogate the woman, huh?
Hey, got to vet it. You got to vet it. We've got Karabo on here. Karabo, what is happening, pal? And the reason I was telling you about my best mate is the brother to his mother. We went yesterday. She's his mother, obviously. We're out. We're celebrating her motherhood. We're celebrating her as a human being.
Mother's Day for the win, huh?
And here we are. And you think to yourself, Karabo, handsome, young, great guy, by the way. Will he be there for his mother on Mother's Day? Absolutely not. Karabo, welcome to the show. Do you want to explain yourself to the people?
I was fast asleep. I don't know what to tell you.
So your sleep is more important than your mother, is what you're saying?
No. It's not more important than my mother, no. But I see my mom every day. I don't get 8 hours of sleep every day.
Wow.
Is what I'm saying.
James, how about that, huh?
I have thoughts, but I just feel like this is a you guys family thing. Like I said earlier, I don't want to be a part of this, but I do have thoughts. It's a you guys thing.
I just want to say, I'm a better person than Karabo because I actually spent time with 2 mothers, his mom and his grandma yesterday. I couldn't spend time with my mom, but I'm just a good person. Your thoughts on that, James?
Again,
I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm saying I'm a good person.
You know what I think the issue here is, right? I think this is very much a Dr. Phil segment that you guys...
Cash me outside. How about that?
Exactly. But emphasis on you guys.
You don't want to get involved, huh?
Families are...
complicated.
Yeah, I don't want to be that person that says bad things about a family when I don't know where people are coming from.
All right, let's get into it then. If you're such a good person, you at the mall, Karabo, you can answer this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, not as good a person as me, Karabo, but he is actually a nice guy. Besides, obviously, not loving his own mom, who's an unbelievable human, by the way. She's one of the kindest, sweetest, and I'm not just saying this because I'm not into the woke nation. Super strong woman. She's been through the most, but just like uber kind, hilarious, nice to everyone. Just a strong woman, You'd think Karabo would be grateful, but whatever. I think I've said too much. But now you're talking about social situations, right? Because you don't like to get involved, clearly, is what you're saying.
Well, not if it's not my family, because it's not my place to say anything.
Excellent. I'm glad you said that. You go to the shops. You're walking around.
Sure.
Your best friend's dad with a 21-year-old, and they're smooching. What do you do, James? Because now you know the mother. You're like, oh my goodness, that's not your wife. What do you do? Because I've been in these situations, by the way. So I'd like to know what you do. Since you, Mr. I don't get involved, it's not about me. Super selfish. Maybe that's why you and Karabo get along. Not great people, but let's hear it.
I don't know.
It's a tough one, huh? So do you stick to your policy of I don't get involved?
Also, it becomes a thing of, do you tell your friend?
That's what I'm saying. Is now you're in it, James. Let's your fake best friend who you haven't seen for 5 months and you haven't even cared to walk down the road to them. But let's just say you were actually best friends with them and you were a good person. You see his father and his parents are married. Everyone knows. And then you see them. I don't know, like at you're in Harties because no one goes there. You see him smooching. 21-year-old girl. Hey, that's not your wife. What do you do, James? You need to give an answer. This is a content show. Karabo, your thoughts.
I am spilling every bean in that can.
Wow. So are you?
Damn.
Who are you telling first? Are you telling his wife first, or are you telling your friend first?
Want to make a group chat?
Oh, that's awesome.
A whole group chat, huh?
Do you include him, the cheating man, in the group chat?
Sure.
What do you name the group, huh?
What's this man's name? This
Clive.
hypothetical man. Clive.
Yeah.
Clive's corner.
Clive's corner. That's awesome because he's cornered. It works as a gathering point.
That is incredible.
Yeah. There's a little bit of alliteration there.
Yeah.
The CC, huh?
So I know that if I ever get added to a group on WhatsApp by Karabo, I must just leave it immediately.
Rule of thumb.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I don't want to.
Oh, you don't want to see what's on the back end of that?
A, I don't want to be Clive, and B, I don't want to be backing Clive into a corner.
What if it was for James? No, but it wouldn't be about you. It would be about your stepdad. So don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? Because when you need to worry is when if it's what's your stepdad's name?
Sean.
Sean's shenanigans. Then you know it's problems. But if it's Jimbalina James, no worries, because you know what I mean. It's about the.
That makes sense.
So now you know. If it's about you, then no problem. Karabo, Man United fan you are, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What's that like?
Right now, it's pretty good.
It's not bad, huh?
Must
Pretty
be
good.
nice.
I prefer having good Thursday evenings, not having to be subject to that orange league that we shall not name.
Yeah.
There's a Champions League and its orange cousin.
So you're a big club now. Are you a big club again?
Again?
Yeah.
Always been.
It's 5 out of 8 years you've been in the Europa League. I'm just putting it out there. So you're basically Tottenham on a budget. And Tottenham in the last, by the way, but Tottenham have been in the Champions League final in the last decade. Man United, not once.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So I don't want to hurt your feelings. But anyway, Karabo, welcome to the show, dude.
Welcome to the show.
Great to
Karabo.
have you here, you know?
Also, I think it's just to be fair, real quick, before we dive right in. Shimmy put it properly.
Dive one in.
Yeah, Shimmy just he put everything right in the world.
Shimi, by the way, uncle to Karabo. So yes,
Shimmy says Karabo is saying every day is Mother's Day. That's very admirable.
So by not pitching up yesterday, he's going. Everyone else is buying into the mainstream bollocks.
Exactly. He's being a hipster, is what he's doing.
I see. Like I love my mom every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, wow. So wow.
Yeah, running theme. I am a shameless hipster. Running theme. Let's just establish this now. Shameless.
Shimmy, what would we do without you?
Okay, Karabo, shameless plug for himself there as a hipster.
Sure. Yeah.
Karabo, bit of a movie fundy as well. You into films, huh?
Yes, sir.
Now, we got into it a little bit. He doesn't like Avatar. I said, Avatar, visual experience, most movies are rubbish these days in terms of storyline and writing anyways. He said, no, I'm wrong. So,
I know you guys were talking
Absolutely.
about Avatar this morning, but I was a little busy with other stuff. Which Avatar are we talking about here?
James Cameron.
but the new one's not out.
Blue people.
Yeah, but it could be Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Who thinks that's the one I'd be talking about? Why on earth would I be talking about M. Night Shyamalan's debauchery? An absolute shambles. He He actually spat in the face of James Cameron with what he did there.
You know what I think I've done here is I've
What?
lowered the music too early because now things seem intense without the playful music. Let's just bring that back up.
But who thinks that's the Avatar anyone's talking about? When I say Avatar, it's very clear. It costs $1.5 billion, give or take. Everyone knows that's what we're talking about. But I guess you guys are from a different generation, huh?
Yeah. When I think Avatar, I think The Last Airbender, the animated show, not James Cameron, blue people. I can do 3D, James Cameron.
So do you know? This is unbelievable.
That's what I said.
I got to tell you guys some bad news. James Cameron did another film, tiny little film called Titanic. Not sure you heard of it.
What's that one about?
Yeah. So when I talk about something, I want to talk about serious stuff, not animated anime nonsense that you guys watch with your indie music playing in the background in your hipster rooms. No.
Great.
Big business, big films, big producers, big directors. That's what I'm talking about. There's only one Avatar. Stop. Airbender is the bubblegum beneath the shoe of society.
Well, to that I say, don't filmmakers have to start somewhere? Do you think James Cameron became James Cameron out of the womb?
I don't care about the Airbender thing. I don't care. Just show me the end result.
Also, Avatar The Last Airbender must be pretty good and pretty big if people are comparing it to Avatar.
Who's comparing it to Avatar?
I'm not comparing it.
Who?
Because...
Okay, maybe comparing was the wrong word. I meant if it's coming up in the same conversation.
Okay. Well, I wasn't comparing them. It's just they share the same name, and one deserves that name, one doesn't. James Cameron, I might be looking at you just a smidge. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sure, Avatar's visually pleasing, but is there beef? Is there meat behind the story? Once the curtains have closed, what are you walking away with? Oh, my eyes were satisfied? No. I feel like you remember how a movie makes you feel. That's what Paul Thomas Anderson said, director of There Will Be Blood. Eyebrows rise. Huh.
Yes, best movie ever made.
He says, I often don't remember what happens in a movie, but I will always remember how a movie makes me feel. So what movie do you remember being like, oh, my eyes felt massaged. They felt tickled by this movie.
Yeah. No, it's, you know what? Everything's empty now. So you might as well give me the visual experience is my point. All of it is nonsense. But you're saying, Karabo's saying, I'm a conscious movie watcher. Got to take meaning away. God, that's a beautiful thing, Karabo. And that's why we have Karabo here. He's adding layers to the show, James. You know what I mean? A little bit of texture. Hipster. I saw that band before they got big, is what Karabo was saying, really.
Exactly.
Oh, that's touching stuff, Karabo. Really, really inspired, to have a thinker in here. Do you know what I mean, James? We just meatheads.
Yes.
He's a thinker.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, we went to boys' schools and Karabo went to these schools where they think and they let them feel and everyone, you know what I mean?
You are well educated,
Montessori vibes. He's a thinker. He's about more than just what's on the surface. Karabo, inspirational stuff, dude.
I don't know. It's almost like the IQ of this desk doubled when a United fan joined, Not a coincidence or anything. No.
It's just feedback, James.
Not a coincidence or anything.
My feelings aren't hurt. He's just saying how he feels, and it's good to have him here. All right.
I'm just not adding anything to
Let's get into the sports show.
Let's do that sports thing.
Yeah,
We've got a fully loaded show today.
We do have a fully loaded show.
And I really, really want to get to social media with James.
James cannot wait. Okay. Let's start with what we do on Mondays. I every Monday, because I'm an honesty broker, I'm honest and I'm humble. James, I'm not sure if you know, people on the streets are saying I'm almost too humble.
Look,
It's my biggest weakness.
I don't think humble and umbelelo are two words that should be kept in the same sentence.
No, it's because you've missed out one word. Once you say too humble, then you're like, oh, I know who you're talking about. Listen, it's a gift and a curse. It's a weakness and a strength. Too humble, because when you're as humble as I am, people take advantage. Sensitive guy over here.
God's favorite, huh?
The reason, me and JC, listen, the reason I'm so humble and why it's unanimous and it's clear is that every Monday, James is going to give us that music again. I tell you where I was right, where I was wrong. All right, I do this every single Monday. Let's get into it. Where I was right, where I was wrong. Where MKT was right, where he was wrong. All right, where I was right. Listen, I said at the beginning of the season, Man City, easily. I'll tell you why. I say to everybody, it's simple. And if you're in business, it's across the board, right? Is you got to have these three things, but we're in the business of football. You've got to have rich owners that are quiet in the background. So deep pockets, you've got to have that. It's not negotiable if you want to win anymore. That's the one thing you have to have. The board must be stable, because what does that do? It tells you that the manager can focus just on coaching, and if the board's stable, you've got a picture, and that matters because you move down one layer. And I've always said the most important thing you must have. You've got to have a manager and a captain. Now, it doesn't matter to me which order you have it in, but Man City have all of those A+, A+, A+. I was dead right. I said at the beginning of the season they'll win. You got Pep Guardiola and Fernandinho. Like, the fact that they got all that other talent, don't even worry about it. You've got that spine. I said at the beginning of the season, don't even worry about the little wobble they had. They're the best team. I was dead right there. Where I was wrong, Edinson Gafani. Listen, I thought it was another Falcao. He's unplayable. It's the movement, it's the timing. And you know what? A player like Cavani could probably play till 36, 37. You can see what Ronaldo is now, Leo Messi is now. When you're at that level, it's the technique. And this is why in sport, just focus on technique. Cavani isn't in the right place all the time because he's lucky. There is no such thing. That is a skill. You watch how in football they coach you as a youngster. They call it arcing your run. So he's always onside. Look at Cavani, never behind the ball. If you're a Chelsea fan, have a look at the Chelsea game. Callum Hudson-Odoi, offside for his goal. Now, that is a technique issue because Callum Hudson-Odoi has his eye on the ball and not the defense. If you've got your eye on the defense, like the great ones do, Edinson Cavani, you'll see his beautiful goal. What he does is he's actually the wrong side of the defender. He jinks in towards the play. So he's onside, and then at the very moment the ball's cut across, he knows he's behind the ball, and the rest is history. Marcus Rashford does the rest. Technique will carry you for a career. Edinson Cavani, I was dead wrong there. He is not Falcao round 2. Where I was right, Mo Salah isn't top 3 in the world, and you're seeing why now. I told all of you at the beginning of the season, people like Mo Salah, people always talk about luxury players. That's the ultimate luxury player. Cristiano Ronaldo still gives you work ethic. Leo Messi can give you more than just goals and assists. He will dictate tempo. Mo Salah, if he's not getting you 30 goals a season, is utterly useless. He doesn't drop, and he doesn't offer you any hold-up play. Right? Is he deadly in the box? You've got to be honest. I don't care how much you hate Liverpool. Yes, he is. But he's one-dimensional. I cannot mention you in the same breath as Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, if all you've got is one dimension. All those other guys at least have 2 dimensions. So I don't want to hear Mo Salah being mentioned as a top 3 player again. It's embarrassing if you're a Liverpool fan and you ever thought that. But this is what happens. YouTube, right? We get to see all the highlights all the time. And it's one season and all of a sudden he's Cristiano Ronaldo. Listen, I don't think Mo Salah is even as good as Neymar. And you know my thoughts on Neymar. I don't. I don't see the difference, quite frankly. Both very, very flaky and very selfish. If you watch the Liverpool game this weekend, it's something I've been saying forever. Cut the ball back to Mane. There's the one chance. I think it's at 0-0 just before Mane scores that brilliant header. Just cut it back to him. It's unbelievable. He offers you that. He doesn't finish. He's no good. Where I was wrong, Jorginho, oh my gosh. And I'm still not in on Jorginho, but the numbers are in now. Chelsea don't lose with him in the team. He's really, really on it. He's become a midfield maestro. Not a fan, but it's objective now. It's very, very clear what he brings. He brings some balance to Chelsea, and he allows them to dictate the tempo. You can only play him with 3 at the back, though. But superb. He's been superb. Nothing I can do about it. Don't love it, but it's out of my hands. Where I was right, Arsenal are now no longer the Gunners. They are no longer the Arsenal. They're the Pistols, and they just Arsenal. Don't tell me they are the Arsenal. It's over. 25 years. And they will not know European football for the first time in a quarter of a century. But it's been coming. Be honest. It's been coming. It has been coming. Right? 25 years. Incredible. Where I was wrong. Billy Joe Saunders. He fought Canelo Alvarez this weekend, and that was ugly. Listen, he broke his orbital bone 3 times. That happened. That was ugly. That was one of the ugliest things I have ever seen. Billy Joe Saunders. And listen, Billy Joe Saunders was winning. Saul Canelo Alvarez is a different beast, though. That's not somewhere to go and play. Ladies and gentlemen, I was dead wrong. I thought Canelo might actually lose. It ain't happening. Where I was right, Crusaders, best rugby team on planet Earth. They're the best team on planet Earth. There's just nothing you can do about it. Crusaders are incredibly run. They're like a Formula One team, and they are the epitome of a dynasty. They are the epitome of a dynasty. And you talk to me about winning and culture and being unstoppable. That's what you're talking about. Crusaders unplayable this weekend. But I was dead right. They're the best rugby team on the planet. Even better than the All Blacks. They're even better than the All Blacks. They are the Bayern Munich, essentially, of rugby. Doesn't matter who's there, who leaves. I mean, Todd Blackadder, who has now been a coach for about a decade, his son is playing at the Crusaders, and they're just as dominant, and it's 20 years later. Will Jordan, unstoppable. Crusaders, unstoppable. Listen, where I was wrong, Sadio Mane is not top 3 either. Because I've been championing Sadio Mane as the guy, right? But I can't be a hypocrite. It was one phenomenal season. What has happened there? I can't give him... You know what? In life, if I give you credit, the amount of credit you want in life is sort of how much pushback you got to be willing to take. And we have to be willing to say Sadio Mane has been horrendous this season. And I'm being kind. He's been horrendous this season, and I'm being really, really nice. Sadio Mane not top 3, and neither is Mo Salah. And we've seen the drop-off has been spectacular. Where I was right, Jose will get a job. The Roman Empire came. It's a great job as well, by the way. It's a phenomenal job that Jose got. And I said, Jose will get a job. Jose got a job. And here we are. He's back in Rome. And I think Rome will be guaranteed top 4 next season. And I think what's great about that situation is that he'll feel wanted. They'll know they've got a manager who's almost too good for them. And they will win. Simple as. Jose Mourinho will get a job. He got a job. And lastly, where I was wrong. Fred has come through. Not everybody needs to be a superstar. You know, there's this idea in modern day football, and I guess everywhere in life, right? We make this mistake as people. We think to ourselves, everyone has to be an uber star all the time. It's not how it works. Not everybody needs to be an A-lister all the time, right? You get a supporting cast in movies. Fred is exactly that. He is what he's shown you is a Michael Carrick-like support staff player characteristic, right? You've got to say Fred's been unbelievable this season. All time. And the greatest ability, I've always said to people, is availability. He's always there. You can always rely on him. And you always know what you're getting. And I was wrong there. I was wrong about Fred. I said 50 million wasted. Listen, again, one season. So I want to see next season, because then there's some pressure, and United next season, you'll be the Champions League team, and you're starting to get some momentum, and you're going to be that United. Remember, it's very, very different. The hunter and the hunted is a very, very different beast. So I was wrong. Fred. That is where I was wrong. That is where I was right. James, it must be tough for you to hear that Mo Salah's not top 3, huh?
I've said it before. I think he's good, but I don't think he's as consistent as he needs to be for a front starter at Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
It's just how I feel. I feel like you need to be explosive on the wings at a club like Liverpool Football Club, and I think if you're not consistent, you don't really... You shouldn't actually be the front starter. I think he'd be great as a backup. He's good, but
Is he gonna win the Golden Boot?
I'm not actually sure. Isn't Kane in the lead at the moment?
Harry. Yeah. Do you know what's even more disappointing?
Tell me.
And I had to say, Sadio Mane is also not...
there I have to disagree with you.
He's had a terrible season.
It hasn't been incredible, but it's still been very good.
But I can't put him in I never want to hear both of them mentioned in the top 3 conversation again.
Absolutely not.
One season's not enough.
I mean, Salah's actually... Wow, he hasn't actually had a terrible season. Salah's scored 20 goals.
The problem is I need 30 if you're going to be that selfish, right? Is he really needs to be... Because he doesn't pass and he doesn't drop. See, there's only 2 players in the world I'll tolerate that with. Cristiano Ronaldo, Leo Messi. Because I'm getting 50 goals... You know, Ronaldo's going to have a terrible season. He's going to get 40 goals. That's what I need. I need 40 goals guaranteed. Like, Mo Salah, The problem with Mo Salah is a 10% drop off is a catastrophe because he's such a liability without the ball that I need Messi and Ronaldo numbers. Otherwise, he's actually a liability. So that's not good enough. Even if he gets 25 league goals, it's just not enough. It's not enough. Because what really needs to happen is the team needs to either be perfect around him or he needs to be perfect. And he has not been perfect this season.
But what are you comparing it to when you say it's not enough? He's one goal behind a frontline striker. One goal behind a frontline striker as a right winger.
So I want to win. And you know what the problem is? A big part of Liverpool not winning in my eyes is Mo Salah, because Trent Alexander-Arnold has been exposed this season. Number one, he's never been a good defender one-on-one. But now Mo Salah doesn't drop. So you see how if Mo Salah's not getting 2 goals a game or whatever, a goal a game, oh no, now they're now exposing Alexander-Arnold because we got some injuries and stuff. Is with Cristiano Ronaldo, you're getting work rate, right? But Cristiano Ronaldo is also scoring a goal again. So now all of the upside of Mo Salah isn't there. Is it 20 is not enough to offset you don't drop. You know what I mean? Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe his work rate could be a bit higher, but
Maybe. Absolutely.
No, it's ridiculous what James is saying. It's mental.
it can't be.
Dude, look at the drop-off of Liverpool as a whole.
Yeah, I mean it's been quite disastrous, but I don't think it's all on Mo Salah not dropping back. I think this season I think Liverpool have just been shit out of luck. I know we agreed not to swear, but that's the best way I can. I think we've been terrible this weekend against Southampton. We were horrendous. We didn't deserve to win, but I just think I haven't been Liverpool this season. It's just been like, do we have to go out there and play against Burnley?
But again, Cristiano Ronaldo pitches up every season. Messi pitches up every season. I don't want to hear Liam. I don't want to hear Mo Salah's excuses. Like, what is his excuse not to be getting? Plus, he gets all the chances. What I don't understand is 20 is actually not enough because we're building the team around you. And you must remember, every miss and every time he doesn't pull it back to Sadio Mane, that's the other team getting possession. Well, we've seen what it is this season. And now, if you have a slight team drop-off, catastrophe. Like, catastrophe. Leo Messi, Barcelona is probably the worst Barcelona in 10 years. Maybe win La Liga. You know, that's the level. And he's going to get 40 goals again. He's going to get, 35 La Liga goals again. I mean, I don't want to hear him. And he's not better than Neymar. And Neymar, you know my thoughts on Neymar, but sorry.
Wait, Salah's not better than Neymar.
Absolutely not.
No. Because at least Neymar gives me the dribbling ability. He doesn't even give me that. He doesn't even give me the threat of... Because you don't need to go 2-on-1 on Mo Salah. It's like, if you've got a decent left back, just deal with the oak. Don't let him in the box. It's when you let him in the box.
I think it's all heavily situational.
Yeah.
Neymar is very, very good one-on-one, and I think he's learned that from a young age, playing at Santos, and being, the man on YouTube with the tricks and the flicks and all of that stuff. But I think Salah is probably, if not the best, one of the best in the world at helping a team counter-attack with the way he times his runs and breaks a line.
Yeah.
And then he's in on goal one-on-one and it's a goal.
I'd love to see how much better he is than Greenwood next season. Because Greenwood's now going to have his chance, the team's stable, and plus with Greenwood, what I get the work rate. So even if we're not playing, the problem with a guy who, like Salah, if we're not playing well, dude, we need you to drop back. Nah. What? Then you better score every time we get the ball. Oh, no, sorry, I'm also not doing that. Oh, well, then I can't live with it. So we'll see. If Greenwood gets 20 league goals next season, then you're like, maybe he's replaceable. It's why I'd rather keep Sadio Mane, because I know with Mane, I'm at least getting the work ethic, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oof. Mane's work ethic is
he's insane.
Incredible.
Listen, he's a phenomenal player, but I've now seen there's also another level, dude. Everybody says Mo Salah, but it was one season. It was like 16 months, right? Over that Champions League and league season. It's really one season where he was... Like Neymar, as much as whatever you think of him, he's done it for 10 years. Like, on Salah's level.
Yeah.
Like, and better. That MSN season, he was unplayable.
Mm-hmm.
Mo Salah did it for one season. People pretend like this has been a decade of greatness. It was 1 year. Like, that's not good enough. That's not good enough to elevate you. Like De Bruyne, that's 5-6 years now, right? Like, okay, wow, that's so hectic. 1 year is not enough for me because Jamie Vardy, then what must I compare Jamie Vardy to Drogba? They won the league.
But then why a couple of weeks ago were you all very big on Erling Haaland, who has been in the limelight for probably just over a year?
So,
But where else has he proven himself outside of that 1 year? In Norway?
No, 2 years. RB Leipzig. Right, remember? He's
Okay.
got the most goals. He's got more goals than Leo Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he's the youngest at his age. He's got the most goals. Him and is it Mbappe? Or is it him?
I'm not sure if it's him and Mbappe or just him.
Yeah. So that's 2 seasons, by the way. That's this season and last season at RB Leipzig, which is meant to be... The guy's 18. And he was the second best striker in Bundesliga.
Yeah.
I mean, Lewandowski's.
Yeah.
Lewandowski.
Totally.
Sorry, you want to get up there. De Bruyne's there now. I wouldn't take Mane or Salah over De Bruyne. There's no way. There is just no way. There's nothing anybody could do to convince me to pick either of the Liverpool guys over that, because I've seen De Bruyne for 5 years now. I saw Mane for 18 months. Sorry. I like Liverpool, and I love Sadio Mane. Sorry. Hey, what do you think of Fred?
Fred.
Oh, look at his smile.
Wow.
Look
Yeah,
at his-
that says it all. That says it all.
Does Fred make you happy? huh?
Look
Yeah,
at his
yeah.
terrible, to smile. You know?
Yeah, Fred does make me happy after going through some traumatic midfielders. Your Van Gaal years. There was that. I try not to think about that too much. That's kind of scarring.
Good old
really.
Van Gaal, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, with Fred, after we signed him, I was like everybody else. Did we just sign him? Did we watch one YouTube skill compilation, saw him do 5 roulettes, and you're like, yeah, he's Brazilian. He'll sell shirts. He does roulettes. That's what people like in Brazilians,
Yeah.
right? And I thought there was nothing to him beyond that. And then eventually he settled. And I honestly couldn't name 5 bad performances this season from him.
Yeah.
Genuinely. He's been phenomenal, game-changing, really. And, he's a type of puzzle piece where, yeah, it's like the Sergio Busquets. They don't get all the shine. They don't get all the glamour. But take them out of the team. That team is going to crumble
He's
if
the
there's
glue.
no Fred.
Mm.
Because, let's say, like, I'm a big McTominay fan. And sure, McTominay's got that physical presence. But Fred's just got a different composure to him that McTominay doesn't. And I feel like that's what we need in our midfield. I just feel like Fred's just what we've been needing. It took way too long because, well, we're not serious with buying anybody, but better late than never. So, yeah, I'm very happy about Fred.
Your thoughts, now it's the end of the season, obviously. Ollie, next season, what do you do? Do you give him next season regardless, or if he's 8th by December, do we have problems?
If he's 8th by December, head on a stick.
He's got to go, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Jeez, it's brutal.
It's brutal out there.
2 years Champions League. It's the first time they've made back-to-back Champions League since Fergie left, by the way.
Speaking of Champions League, I read this weekend that good old Cristiano could actually be in Europa League next season.
Oh, I watched the game. Did you watch the game last night?
No.
Milan Juventus is one of the most ridiculous games I've ever seen. Kesse misses the most ridiculous penalty. Speaking of ridiculous penalties. Sorry.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Sergio Aguero.
Oof. Tried the Panenka.
Sergio Aguero going for a Panenka against Chelsea. It's actually a really important penalty.
Yeah.
In the number one, it's to have the most goals ever by a single for a guy at a single club.
Mm-hmm.
Also, your games are limited. Okay,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
leaving.
There's a good chance that was his last game ever at the Etihad, by the way, because Pep Guardiola is a pretty serious guy. He is not sentimental. He may not play him in the last game. That could have been his last game at home. But also, if you win the league. If they had beaten Chelsea, they win the league 2-0 up. What is it? What?
Awkward vibes.
Can
huh?
you explain to me what that guy was thinking?
No, absolutely not. I couldn't wrap my head around it if I tried. Maybe maybe he's thinking, in 1,000 years when nobody remembers what shirt number I have,
Yes.
they'll have this to remember. This is my magnum opus, okay?
Yeah.
This is going to put me in the history books. This is my hand of God, for lack of better term.
Yeah.
And then, well, fun. Yeah.
Listen, he did marry Maradona's daughter, so he's not into good decisions. Like, who would voluntarily want to marry into the Maradona family?
I mean, you're marrying into football royalty.
Maradona is your dad-in-law. Are you joking? Like, no. That is a bad call. Sorry. This is why it's so important that people try and do the right thing, you know?
Imagine that bachelor party, huh?
I mean, if you got involved in that family 2 years ago, I think your investment paid off. He's already past tense.
When he passed, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no amount of money. It's like, oh, who's your dad? Diego Maradona. See you later. See you later. He's like,
Oh, who's your uncle? Diego Maradona.
see you later. That's what I'd say. See you later. I'm out of here. I do not need to be part of that mess. He's such an imposing figure as well. Not a good person to marry.
He's probably like one of the only footballers who's infamously famous.
Yeah, no, he's
One of the few.
He's probably one of about 5 that'll live forever, you know. And so when I was in Argentina, you'd think Leo Messi, right? Maradona to this day everywhere. Boca Juniors. So I was there I've been to the Super Classico twice. Maradona, all Maradona. Boca shirts everywhere.
Sure.
Murals in the streets. Maradona. No Messi. No Martin Palermo. No Carlos Tevez. No Kun Agüero. No Zanetti. Maradona. You go to Naples, streets covered Maradona. He is a transcendent figure. Doesn't mean I want to marry him. Kanye West does great music. Do not want to hang out with him. That is how I approach it.
I disagree.
Oh.
I feel like Kanye West is that friend that like people are kind of intimidated by and no one really likes.
See, you know what? Garabo disagrees. I don't like chaotic people. So Garabo, you'd want to hang out with him, hey?
Yeah. I mean, you're not seeing him every day.
No, but that's what I mean. He's your mate. Like, imagine having Kanye as a mate.
What do
Like,
you
as an
what do you
everyday
guys
mate?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, that's a different conversation.
what do
It's
you
too
guys
much.
think you would do every day? Like get ice cream or like what would the vibes be?
What, with him?
Yeah, with good old Kanye.
No, but he'd have to have it. He'd have to have an ice cream maker come to. He'd have a surprise ice cream party at your house, and you'd get to your house, and the kitchen's a mess. You know, just because and it's being all like recorded, right?
And then
nothing will be just. Do you want to meet for a cup of coffee?
and
No,
then Kim will be in the garden doing something incredibly elaborate for Instagram.
I heard some good/bad news. Rumors of a divorce going on there. Garabo, you might be plugged in.
It's happening.
So James, why would you talk about his marriage breaking down? You seem to be happy about that. Are you happy that Kanye's life's falling apart? Why did you even bring it up, James? You brought Kim into it. So what's happening there, Garabo?
She's done. She's fed up, it seems. I don't know.
So are they divorced?
In the process of getting divorced, yeah.
Thoughts and prayers.
I mean, he made My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Does it really matter? No.
Did what in your fantasy?
He made My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, the album.
Do you know what that is, James?
Oh, I heard something completely different. That's why I was confused.
But do you know the album?
No.
Oh,
I don't listen to Kanye West.
You don't listen to the hippity hop, huh?
I just don't like Kanye West.
Can't fault you for that,
So you guys disagree there.
but that's fine.
It's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree. Let's move on, huh?
Let's move on, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
So Garabo clearly doesn't think much of his own mother, who's an incredible person, because he.
Who is actually sitting outside over there?
Oh, is she here?
Yes, she's here.
Oh, all right. No, well, yeah. One day he doesn't really think much of you, because he didn't come to lunch yesterday. I'm saying that's the evidence, right? That's the evidence that I'm seeing. You know what I mean, James?
Look, again, I'm not getting involved in your family politics.
Okay.
I refuse.
And James doesn't care about Kanye West's feelings and heart. And wasn't he showed some signs of depression and
Bipolar. Yeah.
So wow, he's bipolar as well. James, could you
Yeah.
maybe be sensitive about talking about his marriage? Garabo, your thoughts? I mean, is there a less sensitive man other than you than James in this whole thing?
Not that I've met, no.
Wait,
Yeah.
are you saying you're more sensitive than me?
Yes.
Nice. Good stuff.
It's unbelievable.
Like
I'm
I
gonna have
said-
to. Yeah.
Anybody with that Liverpool badge around, you cannot trust.
I'm not wearing a Liverpool badge. I don't know what you're talking about.
You do have your jacket here, though, James.
I
yeah,
don't.
in
You had it
flagrant
earlier.
red.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So Garabo, anybody with a Liverpool shirt, you can't trust, huh?
Yeah, rule of thumb.
Good thing I'm not wearing a Liverpool shirt then, huh?
Huh?
I
Rule
said
of thumb.
badge.
Yeah, badge. As soon as it's...
Hat,
Do you see a badge
shoes,
anywhere?
pants.
You know what, James? You're young. You're moving. You're grooving. Anybody with Liverpool vibes. That's what we say on the street. Us young people say. If you got those Liverpool vibes.
Funny story about Liverpool, actually.
Oh, gosh.
So a few years ago, at school, and one of my friends, sports coaches, rugby coach, walks into the school, and I noticed on his calf, it's a Liverpool badge tattooed on him with "You'll Never Walk Alone" on it. This is 2015. This is 2015. This is before Liverpool,
Yeah.
came back from the dead, before they had an exorcism.
Wow.
And yeah, so what happened was I was just speaking to my friend. He played rugby. He was his coach.
Yeah.
And I was busy saying, yeah, what's up with that tattoo on his leg? Is he serious? Is that a temporary tattoo?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no. I'll call him. Calls the coach. Stands right in front of me. Fist distance, right like this microphone.
Yeah.
Just looks at me. No words. 4 minutes. Unbroken eye contact. I say nothing. I say, well, the badge speaks for itself. It's on your body till you die. Have fun with that. Don't think it's best before date's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Boys, this is your friend? Yeah? 50 laps. Go. I'm serious about that badge. I don't like that badge.
Were you part of the boys that had to do the 50 laps?
No. Not my problem. Still friends with those guys to this day, though. Luckily.
So this badge upsets you, huh?
It doesn't upset me.
Yeah, it's
Fully.
just scummy. It's just a bunch of scum, is what you're saying. Karabo.
I mean, it means nothing until it's attached to a person.
And you're that person.
It's
James.
not attached to me. It's on my chair.
No, it's in your heart. It's in your loins.
Absolutely.
You're scum.
Liverpool Football Club will always be in my heart. One of the best Liverpool Football Club tattoos I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay, oxymoron, but okay, let's hear it.
Daniel Agger.
One of the bigger douchebags to have ever played football, and I always defend players. Him, Jean-Henri Risa, douche. Who else? Bentner.
Yeah, but Agger was part of that, take no rubbish
No,
generation.
douche. He's douche.
He would go into tackles.
The tattoo guys are all douches. Like, as soon as you get a tattoo and you're one of those footballers, I do minus points. Like,
What do you think of guys that aren't footballers that have tattoos?
I don't think about them. I don't care. Like,
Okay, so that's not a big
they're
deal.
not my
It's
heroes.
just-
Yeah,
it's just a
footballers are my
football thing.
heroes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So no, who cares?
Sure.
Well, you and your girlfriend walking at the mall with your tattoo. Guess what I think? Nothing. Move on. Get your salad. Go home.
Well, you would stop and say, "Hey, James," and I'd say, "Hey." Emilio,
No,
how you
James.
doing?"
James, get your salad. Go home. I actually don't care. Get some beetroot for that as well. Need an antioxidant. You know what I mean?
I'm eating a lot of vegetables lately.
Oh, James, Mr. Healthy. Hey, James, talking of Mr. Healthy, let's get into some social media with James. Karabo, good take there. Good take. And yeah, he's turning it around. I thought he was the worst person sitting on that side of the table, but I just realized James is for being a Liverpool fan. James, let's turn that around as well. This is just a show of turnarounds, you know what I mean? Let's get into some social media with James. James.
That was clean. I like that one.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm looking at the time, and I know we have F1 soon. So this might have to be a split segment. Okay,
I can do that.
for after F1, because Spike does have to leave halfway through.
Let's
So,
just get into it. No one cares.
right. NFL.
Yes,
Huh?
I do like it, and I live for it. Minnesota Vikings die hard.
NFL. So we have a tweet on the Twitter, Cliff C Sports.
Yeah.
We have a poll going at the moment. For our segment, Social Media with James today, we're talking all things NFL. And the poll is, do you watch the NFL regularly? Your options are can't live without it, and how does it even work? Don't worry if you have that question, because I have the answers.
Great.
I don't, but you do.
Perhaps. Let's hope so.
Right. So I've found a list of questions, or
All right.
frequently asked questions of NFL, and I want you to answer them for me.
Cool.
So
Let's
that
hear it.
myself and the people listening can get a better sort of understanding of what NFL actually is and how it works.
Great sport. Second
Right.
best league in the world.
So, first question. We're going to start off pretty basic.
Mm.
How many players are on the field in football?
That's a good question. Is it 12 aside, hey?
Well, it's not a quiz.
I think it's 12.
It says 11.
11.
Am I asking the wrong person for this quiz?
Yeah, I know.
That's the first question.
It's not a good side, yeah. Not a good
Lord,
side.
okay, so there's 11 players on the field. And And I know there's like an offense and a defense.
And
Are
special
those-
teams. There's
are
also
those
special
split?
teams. There's
And
three. There's 3 teams. There's offense, defense, special teams.
Okay, so how does that work?
for punt, so when you're on offense, it's when the quarterback is on the field.
Okay.
So generally, so you don't always have your first quarterback. That's offense. Then defense is obviously when they're quarterback and they have the possessions. Everyone gets 4 downs. Yeah, you get 4 downs and then it's a turnover if you don't do. Are you going to do yardage in a little bit? Because you've got to go 10 yards to get a first down. And keep
I'll
possession.
get
All right, okay. And then special teams is like punts and kickoffs and stuff like that.
Okay. So 11 players each side, offense, defense, and do you just call it special teams?
Oh, no, special teams is when it's a punt. So that's like it's when they snap the ball back to the kicker and he kicks it.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Or there's also special teams for the kickoff.
Okay.
Which is literally when it's on a tee and then they kick it off and then the guys just chase the ball.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. How do you score points in NFL? I know there's obviously the kicking, there's touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
What are each of those for, and what are the different ways you can score points in American football?
So touchdown, you just got to get the ball into the you got to get the ball into the end zone, which is obviously the zone, the other team's zone. So you can throw it to a receiver, you can run it in with a running back, or the quarterback can run it himself. You can so the quarterback. There's something called the line of scrimmage, which was where the fatties come together. The line in between there where the ball was snapped from. The quarterback cannot pass that line and throw the ball. If the quarterback runs and he goes past that line, it's called the line of scrimmage, he can no longer throw the ball. He is now a receiver and they can smash him. Rule is, quarterback also, he can slide, by the way, to protect himself. So that's one way you got the points. The defense can score points as well, by the way. If you intercept the ball and you go to the other end zone, they call it a pick 6. So pick 6 because a touchdown is 6 points. That's a touchdown. So even if you're on defense, you can score points there. And you can also if teams go 3 downs, because your 4th down is going to be a turnover. On the 3rd down, usually guys go for the kick. By the way.
Okay.
So that's obviously not 6 points. That is 2 points.
So downs, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
are the ball's hiked up and then thrown, and then the receiver gets tackled. That's a down, right?
So a down. Okay. So in order to the down it's just your turn every time. So once the receiver, his knees hit the ground, one knee on the ground, the play is dead.
Okay.
And that's a down. Are you going to get into the length of downs, or is that something I need to explain?
Explain.
All right. So if
This is the down segment. Everything
okay.
downs, go for it.
So you get 4 chances, right? You get 4 downs, and when you get the ball, it is 1st and 10. What that means is it is your first down, and you are 10 yards away from getting another first down. So you've got to move the ball forward, either through running it with your running back or throwing it to your receivers. There's actually on the sidelines, if you're ever watching the NFL, there's the umpires or the refs have a flag. There's they call it moving the chains.
Got you.
And you'll often see them measuring, and there's a literal chain. You got to move the chain. So in order to get a first down again, so your turns start again and you essentially keep possession, you've got to move the ball forward 10 yards on your first down. If you don't, so let's say now you move it 0 yards, right? It's 2nd and 10. So it's your second try. So you'll often see 2nd and 10. What that means is it's your second down. So it's your second try, your second possession, and you've still got 10 yards to go before you can get another down. And that can change. If your quarterback gets tackled from the snap behind the place where he catches the ball, it can go 2nd and 15. Now it's your second try, and you've got 15 yards just to get another first down. So that's how the yardage works. But it's about 10 yards, and it's called moving the chains.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah.
That was hectic, huh?
Yeah.
Something I've heard a lot of in NFL, a Hail Mary.
Hail
What is that?
Hail Mary at the end of a game. If you are you need to now try and win it. You are 5 points down, and it's not a set play. So what they do is the quarterback will drop all the way back. What you want is a guy with a really massive arm. He drops all the way back, and basically all of your receivers go to one place in the end zone, and he just throws it. Sometimes it's like 60, 70 yards, and he literally, it's not a design play. He just throws it, and he hopes for all God that your guy catches it.
Last question before we
Desperation.
intermission, and
Before Karabo leaves us.
there you go. Why are there so many like coaches and people on the side of the field? Like I've seen there's people with headsets on, then that dude's yelling at the other dude, but he looks like the coach, and then there's another guy. It's all very confusing for me.
All right. So what you must understand, there is offense and defensive head coaches.
Right.
Then within that, a position is tight end. There are tight end coaches. There are running back coaches. There is a quarterback coach. There is on defense. There is a linebacker coach. There is a corner coach.
And they all just
There's a lineman. There's an offense. There's a offensive line coach. There's a left tackle coach. So one of the positions, offensive tackle coach. So 53 people. Imagine on a playing roster. By the way, in the NFL, every position has a coach with a head coach for that. So there's a head defensive and head offensive, and your head coach. Those are not the same people, right?
Jeez.
And then you've got assistants. So you've got assistant offensive coach. You've got assistant defensive coach. And that goes all the way down. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking
Lord.
25, 30 coaches.
Good Lord.
That's not even the strength and training people. The strength and training people is a whole
Completely
different
different.
department. So what you're seeing is just a tiny part of the staff.
Good Lord.
Because you're not seeing the general manager. You're not seeing the ops people. I mean, the NFL rosters, which is why it's incredible that they survived and made last season, are 100 admin staff. Minimum.
Good
A
Lord.
minimum.
So rosters are a thing I do want to get into along with the draft, because draft has always been something that has intrigued me because of the whole spectacle about it.
Yes.
But
We'll get into that in part 2
Yes.
of social media with James.
so yeah, for now I think that's about it. I have been wanting to get into NFL, but I just know there's 86 coaches and 4 quarterbacks and 3 linebackers and
You work on a sports show now. You got to know this.
exactly.
Hey, it's the second biggest, and definitely the best run league in the world. It's better run than the Premier League. It's a smarter way to do it, and the Americans try to civilize Europe and have an ESL, but they said no. We are going to stick to our queen and ridiculous things like the Premier
There's a
League.
lot of money in NFL. Also.
Money. They just signed a $120 billion deal
Jeez.
for a sport that nobody cares about outside of America. That's just the American TV rights, by the way.
Good
$120 billion for 10 years. And they haven't even started negotiating for local TV rights. That's going to be a $200 billion deal. And it's all guaranteed for the owners, by the way. 32 billionaires. And every single owner, the Liverpool guys, they own a baseball team.
Yes.
But the other two, Kroenke and the Glazers, own one of the teams. And by the way, there's no relegation in the NFL. Once you're in, you're in.
Yep.
You are in. Karabo, good to have you today, dude.
Great to be here.
So we'll see you Wednesday, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Karabo on Wednesday again.
If you could come with a different attitude towards Liverpool fans, that'd be
oh,
great. Thanks.
Absolutely not.
Ladies, settle down. Settle down. We're going to hug it out. We're going to have an intermission. If you're into Formula One, you better believe Spike Ballantyne is back. On the other side, we get into it. Lewis Hamilton performing miracles again yesterday. Now, did I watch the whole race? Don't be ridiculous.
Lame.
I did catch the part though. Oh no, did Red Bull go with the wrong strategy? Hang around. You'll find out after this. We're going to hug it out. Intermission MKT Show.
In 1999, Stefan Schwartz had a clause placed into his contract at Sunderland Football Club. Can anyone guess what that clause is?
That he could ride a helicopter. It was involved in. It was either skiing. I don't know why I went from skiing to helicopter. It is something.
Heliboarding or whatever.
Skiing, helicopter, jet skiing, something to do that with that. It's that ballpark that he's allowed to do something weird. Sweden, Benfica, Arsenal, Steven Schwartz.
And did that cancel one of the transfers or not? He still got the transfer. I remember the whole thing.
Could have been, but it was definitely some extreme thing that he would still luge or something.
I remember that. I think what actually happened, and James, I presume you're going to give us the answer. It was in the transfer, and then he wanted that in, and then it cancelled the transfer. But maybe it's a different thing that
Very
I'm thinking.
possible.
But yeah,
It was something like that.
James, what actually happened? That's an interesting one.
He had a space clause.
That's why I had the helicopter.
Ballpark.
So this was back in 2002. No, it wasn't. That's incorrect. It was back in 1999. when he signed for Sunderland for just under 4 million. And the idea of commercial space flights became a thing in 2002. And that's why they inserted it into his contract. His agent had a seat on the first commercial.
Richard Branson caught him hook, line, and
Yeah.
sinker. Still to be fulfilled. Those
There you go,
tickets.
huh?
Not enough to be great at football. The MKT Show. That's the name of this show. It's also my name. It is an acronym for me.
Your name is MKT Show?
It is. It is my
You
life.
learn
Is,
something new every day.
I don't live my life for me.
And Spike is back with a bang.
He is. He is.
Straight into it, man. Let's not mess around.
Yeah, let's not muck about. There was a lot of discussion earlier on about mucking about. We're not going to do it. We're going to get straight into it. Lewis Hamilton.
No puns today.
No puns.
Good luck with that.
I'm a very, very serious man. Listen, yesterday, Catalonia, Barcelona. Lots of chapels there for those who haven't been there. If that's your vibe, go to Barcelona. Sensational.
One of which they haven't completed, even though they've been building it for 140 years.
True this.
Although, to be fair, it's not a chapel. It's a proper church.
Church. Is there a difference?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think a
Alright.
chapel is like 12 to 15 people or something.
Yeah.
And a church is like 400 to
Bring-
1,000.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
God's
It's the
real
difference
house.
between, like, I guess, an arena and a stadium.
I think I've got it.
God's in real estate.
A chapel is God's holiday house. A church is his real house where he lives.
Yeah, that's his residence.
Gotcha.
There we go.
He's heavily into real estate, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, God. All right, kill that music. Let's get into Formula One. Again, I'm gonna say it. Did I watch the whole race? Don't be ridiculous.
Lame.
There was football on.
Lame.
What must I do?
I watched the whole race and worked.
I like your commitment, James.
I try.
That's good stuff. You're a better person than me there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a better person than you in most spheres, but
No, I'll accept that. I'll accept that. But you won't believe it. I literally, as I was checking, I was obviously flipping channels. That moment, I mean, because we're going to start with Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
Spike, I literally switched over at that moment because then they started talking about whether Red Bull, because then I had to go through all of Twitter, like, hey, what's going on here?
should
Yeah,
just watch the race.
Yeah, which is the best source of any information,
Well,
just going through Twitter.
It's buzzing because as soon as, is it Murray or who's the commentator?
No, we keep going over this. Murray is dead. Murray died.
Long live Murray. He'll live in my heart forever.
Okay, so there's Brundle
Brandel.
and there's Crofty.
Brandle's the guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Legendary voice. They were talking about it. I thought,
Yeah.
I got to catch up. Social media. And then people kind of were explaining that Red Bull went with a one-stop strategy or
One stop,
Merck went with a 3-stop, if I'm not mistaken.
2 stop, I think.
Two stops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, that was the crux of the race, if you like, is that when Hamilton was catching Verstappen. So Verstappen, great start, was in the lead in turn 1, and pulled out a bit of a gap, but then Hamilton started catching him up. They pitted for tyres. Hamilton went a little bit longer than Verstappen, and the thinking was generally that once Verstappen had pitted, Merck left Hamilton out just to get a bit more wear out of those tyres, so that by the time he got to the end of the race, he'd have more life in his newer tyres. He'd have fresher tyres
Got you.
compared to Verstappen. 6 laps, I think, or 5 laps was the difference. Anyway, they carried on. Hamilton caught Verstappen, but then pitted again, and then the result of which came out, he was 22 seconds behind with 20-odd laps to go, and the game was on then. So now it was up to Hamilton to catch Verstappen and pass him within that time frame on his fresher tyres.
Wow.
And this is the thing about it, is that when you've got a driver like Hamilton, it allows Mercedes-Benz to go, well, if there's anybody that can pump in the laps that we need him to,
I see.
it's Hamilton. So let's put him in that strategy. Hamilton afterwards admitted it was a gamble.
Jeez.
He came out and said, well, gamble strategy, but it worked. But it worked because he's Hamilton and he can do it. And you, if you'd watched the race, you would have heard the commentators talking about how it was a similar strategy to Hungary last year. Exactly the same thing happened. They pitted Hamilton twice, and he had to chase down Verstappen towards the end of the race, which he did.
Yeah, because also what's incredible about that, and what was Lewis's start like? Because I heard again it wasn't exactly optimal.
No, I think looking at it, I think they got the same reaction. I think him and Verstappen got off the line at the same time. There were lots of comments before the race about the amount of rubber down on Verstappen's side of the grid. So I think Verstappen just had better traction. It wasn't in the reactions; it was more in the tractions, which I think is my slogan from now on. It's not about the reaction; it's about the traction. I quite like that one. I don't know where we can use it, but yeah,
Spike,
It'll use itself.
Yeah.
It'll come out.
Yeah.
No, it's not about the reaction. It's about the traction.
yeah.
Spike, you just come here every week and you just blow us away with
I can't remember
these-
what I came up with last time. All I know is that Disney had taken it already.
You're a genius, though.
Wasn't it with Mazepin?
No.
The thing is, you're such a genius. I'm not worried about remembering the old stuff. You're always gonna come up. There's just always.
Yeah.
This is a gun. Pew pew.
There's parts of me during
Phew.
these F1 segments
It's not a real gun.
where my eyes start twitching when he goes off on his things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a pun coming.
Yeah. But you got PTSD. You got pun PTSD.
Real thing.
Yeah.
Bottas.
Yeah. Again, I think slightly disappointing. He'll be disappointed with himself. I think he. I do think he was slightly unlucky at the start because of Verstappen's start. Hamilton did have to back off slightly because Verstappen chopped him quite aggressively in turn one, which was phenomenal to see.
Oh, incredible,
Really,
huh?
really great move. And just to see how both drivers managed it. Verstappen with the aggressive move, Hamilton gave him enough room, but then had to back off to try and get back online. And I think in doing that, Bottas had to back off as well because there was nowhere for him to go. And I think he was slightly compromised. That allowed Leclerc to get past him. And he battled with Leclerc for a long time and ultimately finished off the pace. I think he was hamstrung initially, but I don't think he could have done much better than he'd done with a third place.
Your thoughts on Red Bull overall, both lads?
Yeah, I think Perez has come out himself saying that he's still not getting up to speed quick enough at the circuits that they're going to. So obviously adapting to a new car, and then every circuit you go to has got its own characteristics. Perez has come out and said, look, I'm just not adapting fast enough to the circuit, which is good and bad. I suppose it's good that he's recognizing the fault, but bad that he's taking as long as he is to adapt. He didn't have a great qualifying. He was complaining about dizziness. He picked up a shoulder injury, so he hadn't had a great qualifying. He was then in the race because he'd started so low down. He was battling with Ricciardo for 40 odd laps, 46 laps or something, before he managed to get past Ricciardo. So his race was over pretty much then, or his participation at least in the top four, and his ability to contribute to Red Bull's strategy, which again I think also allowed Mercedes-Benz to contribute or to put that strategy into play. I think had Perez been further up, maybe hounding Bottas even, then they would have thought twice about bringing Hamilton in for that second stop and going with that risky strategy. That said, Christian Horner did admit that they did not see that second stop coming, and they were caught off guard. They were caught on the back foot, and so they didn't react to it. I don't think it would have made much of a difference had they reacted. I think Hamilton probably would have taken the win anyway. He just seemed that much more confident in the car.
Hey, these are the things you don't see, right? In football, the manager's standing right there. You know what I mean? He's a part of the visual. I can only imagine the amount of games and situations that are being played out. In order to go for that Lewis situation, because you're playing, like you said, if Bottas isn't sort of where he is, and the Red Bull boys are sort of 2 and 4, changes the whole game, right?
Yeah, but
so it's a game within a game.
Yeah, and that was my whole thing at the start of the season, was that now that Red Bull have got these two guys in the stature of Verstappen and Perez, they're going to be able to take the fight to Mercedes because they're going to be able to mess with Mercedes-Benz strategy and work their strategies to disrupt Mercedes' game, because we know that Bottas over the last few seasons has fallen away quite badly in terms of his relative pace to Hamilton. That hasn't happened, so Mercedes-Benz still advantage Mercedes-AMG.
That's what money's for. Take the smartest people in the world, put them in a sport, and then make them think against each other.
And then also make
Hunger
sure
Games.
that those smartest people are supported by hundreds of other smart people, not necessarily even in the same country. And this is the one thing that I love about F1, is that as much action as you see on the track, and as much as you hear occasionally from the guys on the pit wall, and as much as you see the action going on in the pit garage, there is a whole team of people at every factory back where their factories are. So in McLaren's case, back at Woking, there is a team of strategists, a team of data engineers, all sitting there analyzing, coming in what's going on real time at the track, and then advising the people at the track on best strategy.
Oh my goodness.
It's a whole side of the sport you
love
don't
that.
see, but there they are contributing. It's wonderful.
And with smart people, there's a hub in India. Like, well, what else is smart countries? India, Korea, Singapore.
Estonia.
Yeah, they've got like other engineers that they consult and just pay like, hey, here's $1 million, dude.
Yeah.
Just stay around in case I phone you at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
I
We
need
might
you
need
to
something. Yeah.
That's what money's for. Brain Hunger Games. I love that.
Bigger chess games.
I love that.
Brain Hunger Games.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey,
Yeah.
like that. Brain Hunger Games.
Wow, it's okay.
Jay, patent. I've already got that, James. Don't try and use it
I'm
with
afraid
your
you
friends.
can't now patent it just because you've announced it. Now the whole world knows about it. You should have taken out the patent first.
I should have done that.
Yeah, just like my reaction versus traction, I can't use that now.
Here's the thing.
It's gone. It's tired. It's done. It's finished.
That's why they're not paying me to be the Formula One guy. I'm not really a thinker. I'm more of a talker. That's why I do this for a living. You know what I'm saying, James?
I
You
genuinely...
do know what I'm saying. You do know what I'm saying.
I thought there was a pun coming, and I was preparing
Look,
myself.
so far he's been true to his word. He said no puns. There's been no puns.
Well, he made a pun this morning.
No, but he said within this.
Yeah, I'm a pro. I mean, that was pre-prod. Now
Pre-prod,
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Prod, eh?
Pre-production, huh?
Little industry
Yeah.
jargon. I don't want to bore you with that. Ferrari, listen. I did see some of Ferrari's qualifiers, by the way.
Yeah.
F1 app is just unbelievable. This is where I
Oh,
watched all of this stuff.
Actually, yeah, now that you mention it. So yesterday being Mother's Day, the race being sort of, in a South African context, not the best timed.
Yeah.
So yesterday was Mother's Day, celebrated with my mom. It was a great afternoon. Got home, launched F1 TV Pro, watched
Yes.
the whole race.
Again,
Fantastic.
man, we live in a
Wow.
great world.
It's wonderful.
Did you go radio silent so you didn't know what
No, stayed off the socials.
smart?
Yeah, no, you can't.
That's
can't.
how you do it.
The thing is, F1. What I do is when I watch F1 TV online,
Yes.
and then I mirror it to my TV.
Smart.
But the problem is, and I've almost forgot that when I launched my one browser, my homepage is a motorsport F1 page. I was like, I could have ruined it for
You
myself.
could have seen who won.
Yeah, I caught myself luckily and launched another browser that was a generic
Good
homepage.
thing I didn't send you any WhatsApps.
Yeah, I would have punched you in the face, James.
Yeah. Well, and that's fair. I would have said, hey,
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Maybe I should punch him in the face
In fact, this is a procedural note going forward. If anybody wants to talk to any, and also, if you have mates that you're chatting to on WhatsApp or whatever the case may be about F1, just if you're watching the race, before you say anything about the race, just preface your message with, "Hey, are you watching the race?" And then if they come back and go, "No," then you say, "Okay, cool. No spoiler alerts for you."
Yes.
It's a lesson my dad is yet to learn.
Lol.
I like that. If we're gonna cut that clip and you send it to him. Send it to him and let him know. All right, Ferrari.
Oh wow, it's good to see Ferrari back or thereabouts at the very least. I had almost a stand-up argument with a guy who thought I was anti-Ferrari on Saturday. I'm not anti-Ferrari. I'm not their biggest fan, but F1 without Ferrari would be weird. So it's good to see them coming back. It's good to see them making progress. It's great to see them qualifying that well and also racing that well. Charles Leclerc qualifying fourth, finishing fourth. I think he did as much as he could have done on the day. I don't think he could have done any better. And then Carlos Sainz, also great qualifying in sixth, dropped down to seventh, but I think all in all a good points haul for Ferrari, and they will be happy with that.
Yeah, it's good. It is good to have Ferrari back. I still, what little love I have in terms of the event itself, Ferrari's still my team because I do love Michael Schumacher. I'm all about greatness.
How is Ferrari your team, but you want a Verstappen jumpsuit?
Yeah.
No, I support a team, but greatness is greatness. Verstappen is clearly the wunderkind.
But you just admitted that you support Ferrari because of Michael Schumacher.
Well, I love greatness. That's what I'm saying. Is I loved Michael Schumacher, and he was Ferrari for me. Now it's Verstappen. So I will probably... A wise man can always change his mind, James. James earlier made up a saying and said that's what people say. And I was like, no, that's not what people say. But a wise man can always change his mind. A real saying. People in Indonesia know it, James. Unlike your saying that you made up this morning. So wise man can always change his mind.
Wait, are we talking about once you hit the bottom, you can only go up? That's not a made-up saying. People know that.
I don't know who that... I don't think that's...
I think I've heard that, but in different words.
Yeah, that's
The
not...
only way is up is the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the essence.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
All right, I mean...
You embellished slightly, but it makes sense. Same concept.
I don't like artistic license. You used a bit of artistic license. I don't like it.
I'm a creative. I knew that would trigger him. I knew it would trigger him.
Oh, man. Let's just talk about McLaren because I don't even want to touch...
Yeah, McLaren. So Ricardo coming out this past week going, he feels like he's still at school, learning how to drive the car effectively. Particularly, the thing about Ricardo, he was always a great braker. He was superb on the brakes, always has been. It's been one of the hallmarks of his driving style. The McLaren not quite suiting his braking style, and your lap time is made up in the corners, not in the straights. And he's finding his way. He had a better qualifying this time out. Qualified 7th, finished 6th. And he had a really nice battle with Perez as well. Held up Perez for a very long time. But it's good to see him kind of coming to grips with that car. I hope he can carry that form forward with him. Norris, not such a good weekend. Qualified 9th, finished 8th. But I think he'll be happy that he made up the position and got a few extra points at the end. I think McLaren as a team will be very happy with the result. Not least of all because they are the only team so far this season to have a double points finish in every race.
Oh,
How's that?
hey, do you know what? The more I'm reading, I realize how much of a team sport it is.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you you're progressing.
Yeah.
Because if if the whole is progressing,
Yeah.
that's good news for 2-3 years down the line. Incremental improvement across the board. Really. So the only team in the
So far this season, to have a double points finish at every race.
hey,
There's only been 4 races,
but still,
Yeah.
you'd think
no, it's to see where McLaren have come from the past few seasons. It is for me very reminiscent of their return to form in the late 90s, how they really were nowhere, and over a period of seasons they gained consistency, they got quicker, they stabilized internally, and eventually the results in the World Championships came. And I've got no doubt that it's probably not going to be as short a time as it was in the 90s. It took them, I think, 3 or 4 seasons. It's probably going to take a little bit longer, but McLaren are on their way back to the top, and it's really good to see.
great news. Ferrari back, McLaren back. Let's
And
go.
also to see that battle, that Ferrari-McLaren battle returning as well. It's just awesome. Because, I mean, you talk about Michael Schumacher. That's the stuff of my F1 childhood memories is Ferrari versus McLaren.
Yes.
Hakkinen versus Schumacher.
Mika,
No one cares about Irvine because he's an idiot.
Eddie.
Oh, word. The other guys, Massa, later on Barrichello, those are the Ferrari drivers.
Felipe Massa. See, I know this stuff.
Where's he from?
I don't know. Italy. Felipe.
Brazil.
Spanish. Brazil.
Here we go.
It's a Brazilian.
Third time lucky.
Like Rubens, huh?
Like Rubens, yeah.
Although I wasn't expecting much. He's the same guy that said they should water the pitch. So
Yeah, true.
Still, water the pitch. Night games.
my word.
Play night games and water the
Water the
pitch.
pitch.
whenever
night
you
matches and water the pitch.
Yeah.
Listen, Fernando Alonso
Mm.
before the race didn't have his helmet on for whatever reason. I don't know what he was adjusting because I saw it in one of the highlights videos.
Mm.
That man's hair
Oh, it's phenomenal.
deserves its own
Yeah.
sort of, like Madame Tussauds,
Mm.
but it should just be full of
Of his-
mannequins with his hair. Like imagine his hair on Oprah. Like it should just be. They should replicate Alonso's hair.
You're not talking about his facial hair.
No,
You're talking about his
his hair,
crowning glory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
yeah.
mane.
Yeah.
But they should just have imagine Doris Day, right?
Mm.
But with Alonso's hair.
Yeah.
Eddie. I don't know, Eddie Izzard.
Yeah.
Wax statue.
With Alonso's hair.
Just
Yeah.
I can't. Who else? Michael Jackson. Alonso's hair.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler.
Alonso's hair. Yeah.
Like who would be a great one? I'm trying to. Oprah I've already done.
Sean Connery.
Yes.
Alonso's
Alonso's hair.
Yeah.
Who else would be awesome? Serena Williams.
Yo.
I have it.
Alonso's hair.
I have it. Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Alonso's.
Yo, there we go.
That's the one,
in the
huh?
conversation there. There we go.
Alonso yesterday.
Yeah.
What did him and his hair do?
No, the team actually, I would talk about about Alpine first, because both cars in the top 10 qualifying, Ocon in 5th, Alonso 10th. And Alonso coming out going, well, the improvements that the team has made to the car have surprised even him. And he used the quote, feels too good to be true.
Wow.
But they have made some improvements. It's not quite showing, I think, in the way that they wanted to just yet, because Alonso finished out of the points yesterday. Their one pit stop strategy for Alonso didn't really work. He got absolutely swamped in the closing laps. He just pulled in. Once he'd been passed for 10th place, he went and replaced his tyres. I don't know, I suppose in a vain hope to catch and pass in the last 8 or 10 laps or whatever it was. Didn't work out. He finished 17th. Ocon qualified 5th. Great qualifying for him. He couldn't convert it to real points in the end, finished in 9th. But still, Alpine for me is the team that is going to be towards the front of the midfield pack. So they're going to be mixing it up more regularly with Ferrari and McLaren towards the end of the season. And it's really great to see these little battles going on, between the likes of Alonso and Vettel and Alonso and Raikkonen, all the former world champions, all the old boys,
Yeah,
mixing it up. Not quite in the positions that they want to be, but still battling. And it's great to see. And I really expect to see Alpine a little bit further up the track, chasing Ferrari, mixing it up with McLaren towards the end of the season.
I mean, at that level, the drop-off needs to be 1% in terms of your hunger, desire. Also, your, reflexes go.
Yeah.
Like, as you age.
Yeah.
But even if it's sort of a minuscule drop, it can be 0.1%, which is what it would be for these guys at the top. Alonso probably, as he's aged, it's worn away. But the great thing, I would say Ocon is also in a really lucky position, and the team on it lucky. Imagine having him as a resource to draw from.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just how do you run the team?
Yeah.
Who are engineers you worked with before? Who are the smartest guys? He's come across everything you can come across in the game, and you want to build your team on proper foundations with a guy like this.
And he's a race winner, and he's a double world champion, and arguably he should have more championships. He should be, a 4 or 5 times world champion if it weren't for some dodgy career choices that he's made. But to be able to, as you say, to draw on his expertise, not just in terms of team building and all that, but practical, how does the car feel here? What can we change to make it better? And for Ocon to draw on that data as well and to interact and learn from Alonso is invaluable. And I do think Ocon is a star of the future. I think he's got a lot more to show. I think he's kind of been a little bit in the shadows too long, but I think the fact that he's mixing it up with a driver of the caliber of Alonso and beating him regularly just shows how good he is.
Hey, good team balance. I like that. Experience, the veteran, and as you say, the French youngster.
Yeah,
Ocon. So hey, good news there. That's good. The more competition at the top, that's good for the sport.
Absolutely.
We want to be able to watch this. AlphaTauri.
Your boy Tsunoda. Wow. Qualified 16th, bailed on the 8th lap with what they think is a gearbox problem. They're hoping it's a gearbox problem, not an engine problem. If it is a gearbox problem, they can replace it without taking a penalty because it hasn't. It's gone through the required number of uses. If it's an engine problem, they'll pick up a penalty next race. They haven't announced yet what that problem was. Also, upsetting a few people by calling out the car on live TV, going in his interviews going. He's wondering if the car he's got is the same as Gasly's car.
Oh.
Like stupid stuff like that. A lot of people coming out, Jensen Button including, just saying, just calm down. Just mind your P's and Q's. It's going to be a rough year. Any first year in Formula 1 is a rough year. Just stop swearing, take a breath, keep quiet, and have your discussions behind closed doors. Don't say that kind of stuff to the media because all you do is piss off the team.
And you know what it is? Again, on a very serious note, is if there's one thing smart people don't like is they don't mind the confrontation behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Smart people, most, not always,
Yeah.
don't mind harsh feedback. Especially, I know engineers. They don't mind harsh feedback because they're smart and they like to get better. What they don't like to be is to be embarrassed. Because, when he's talking out there, he's a youngster. It's all ego and it's all about him. But those smart people behind, as soon as he does that, if he thinks that's going to help with smart people, I'm sure, like you said, Jensen would have said, because Jensen himself, we know what he was like.
Yeah.
He's bumped heads with smart people.
Yeah.
He's probably going to chat to him behind the closed doors and say, listen.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is Formula One's a sport where you need to keep your emotions in check. You can't go ranting and raving when things don't go your way. Verstappen's a prime example. The guy's calmed down massively over the years, and it's served him well. And I think any driver who starts off for that position of losing their temper and swearing and shouting, you're limiting your career options ultimately. So just take a breath, calm down, take the knock, and go to your engineers in the right forum and chat about what went wrong.
Yeah, because, Spike, sorry, I just want to finish off on this, is if there's one sport where you want a bunch of smart guys on your team, because they'll put in that extra hour. We all do it in life. If you like somebody, you'll go that extra mile. So,
Absolutely.
Yes, we know, dude, but let's give it 18 months. And you know what? That hour I don't have to do for you, that hour testing, that information from my connection in Japan, I'll do it for you if you treat me with respect.
Because I like you.
You know what I mean?
You work well with people you like. It's that
Yes.
simple. Yeah.
So he needs to, anyway, young people, it's a good lesson.
As for Gasly, qualified 12th, he made it into the points, finished 10th. He'll be happy to finish there, but he did make a very rookie error at the start. Misaligned his grid slot, got a 5-second penalty, and that knocked him down. He probably could have finished a little bit further up, but still, as I say, I'm sure he'll be happy to be in the points and beating his much vaunted teammate yet again.
Yeah.
I think that Tsunoda what's the word? Hype.
Yeah.
I think it's fading fast.
Wow. There you
Look
go.
at that, huh?
Tsunoda, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for you, buddy.
You can't call out your team. Listen, a car that everyone should be aspiring to have in real life, especially if you can drive it on ice. Aston Martin.
Aston Martin.
You don't know the movie I'm talking about, do you?
James Bond.
Yeah, because I know we've spoken about it before.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Aston Martin, I would like to take this opportunity right now to stand on this platform to
Do it,
to you
Spike.
guys in the studio
Do it, Spike.
and to everybody who's watching and listening and say that Lance Stroll, say what you like about his dad owning the team,
Mhm.
but the guy belongs in Formula One.
Yeah.
There is no doubt.
He had quite a race yesterday.
I mean, come on. First of all, he is regularly out qualifying and beating his 4-time world champ teammate in the same car. That's the first thing.
yep.
And the second thing, cracker move on the outside of Alonso yesterday.
Ooh,
It was exceptional.
I'm going to watch it.
To take on a guy like Alonso who will fight you for every millimeter on a track and try and intimidate the crap out of you because you're a relative newcomer, he handled it so well. I'm talking about Stroll now handled it so well.
Mm.
It was a difficult move. He made it stick, and it was exceptional. It's the more I watch this guy, the more I believe the problem that he has is not a lack of driving talent. He's got a PR problem. They need to fix his PR because everybody is, this kid's only here because his dad owns the team. Granted, he's probably in the team because his dad owns it, but he deserves to be there because he's driving really, really well. And I'm happy to support him. I really am.
The best thing he can do is keep driving like this.
Absolutely.
That'll shut people up.
Yeah.
He drives like this for another year. So this year, he must just put up with it. Next year, he drives like this again.
Yeah.
that overtake on Alonso was a walk in the park.
It's a stroll.
Stroll.
Oh, my God.
But people can stroll everywhere. That's a terrible.
Yeah,
Punt.
also, it wasn't a walk in the park.
Yeah.
It was bloody
no,
difficult.
it was difficult. It was the opposite of that.
Yeah.
No, but he made it look really
You can
easy.
stroll anywhere as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So why does it have to be?
Vettel,
You know.
he's still not having a great time. His 2021 season hasn't been great for him. He's now got the same aero package that Stroll had last time out, so they're in equal cars. He's still struggling. He had qualified 13th, finished 13th. He came out afterwards and said he struggled with the tires on the car, a complaint that a few drivers had. But still, I think Vettel is taking a little bit too long to adapt to that Aston Martin, and no doubt feeling the pressure of having the Lance Stroll hand his ass to him most races.
What do you think the issue is with Vettel? Do you think he's just lost confidence, or
I think if you got to go back to Hockenheim a few seasons ago where he crashed while he was in the lead. And I think it stems from that. He was feeling the pressure. Then he cracked the. I mean, it was a really, really horrible thing to watch, just because you could hear how angry he was with himself, and it was just a really dumb mistake to make. And I don't know. I mean, I think he hasn't really recovered from them. He feels the pressure. I think he wants to get back to being at the front. He wants to get back to being the Sebastian Vettel of Red Bull days. He, to some extent, is probably not getting the tools that he needs to do that because he's in an Aston Martin, which isn't the best car out there, obviously. But I think also he can't, I think he doesn't have the best BMT anymore for whatever reason. When he was in Red Bull, when he was ahead of everybody, he killed it. And he had some great races, fighting his way through the field. But I think lately, as you say, he's feeling the pressure. Maybe he's feeling a bit old. Maybe he doesn't have the motivation anymore to do as well as he did to prove himself. Maybe he's in a headspace where he goes, well, look, I'm not in the most winning car, so I'll take what I can get. I don't know. I do think that that BMT and his temperament, his pressure, his ability to handle pressure is coming into it to a degree.
Yeah, but he's really important, I think, now for German racing, James. You know why?
don't do it?
Because the
Don't do
Germans are saying he's Sebastian of hope. Sebastian
Jesus, that is a stretch.
of hope.
A stretch. A stretch.
It's just painful.
Wow.
Sebastian, a bastion of hope. Anyway, Alfa Romeo were also in the race yesterday.
Yeah. Raikkonen qualified 17th. Not a great qualifying from him, but he did recover to finish in 12th. Antonio Giovannazi,
Correct name.
better qualifying. He qualified in 14th, but he had a very weird incident at his pit stop in the safety car period. Apparently, what happened was he went in for quite an aggressive strategy, an early stop, and the tire valve on his left rear tire was faulty. So when the mechanic came out to replace the tire before he put it on the car, he realized it was in fact flat. So the way that the rules of Formula One work is you can't mix tires. You have to have a complete set of tires.
Yeah.
So they had to run into the pit garage,
Oh, is that what that was?
bring
Oh,
all
my
4 tires,
word.
put all 4 tires back, bring all 4 new tires out, put them on the car, send them out. Martin Brundle said he'd never seen anything like it. I'd never seen anything like it, and it's a really weird thing to have go wrong because you'd think in the pit it's all controlled. They have sensors. Those things are in blankets. They're monitoring temperatures. They're monitoring pressures. But Alfa Romeo coming out and going, well, there was a fault somewhere because they checked them before the race. Everything was fine. When it came out, the tire was flat. And yeah, as a result, Giovannazi dropped to 15th. I don't think he would have got into the points, but certainly it ruined his race.
Oh my goodness! And that is this is the worst time ever for that.
Yep.
There is no time worse because of social media to have the longest pit stop in the history of probably the longest in like 3-4 years, I would imagine.
It was long. I don't
That's
know
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like now it's just F1 social media is gonna kill those guys.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my goodness, Alfa Romeo. All right, Williams.
Williams, much of a muchness really. They're kind of continuing where they left off from their last race and the race before that. Russell qualified 15th, finished 14th. I think that he must feel incredible levels of frustration, given that he's had some time in the Mercedes-Benz and he knows what it's capable of, and now he's stuck in a Williams that really just suffers at the slightest suggestion of conditions not being perfect. He made up 1 position in the race, but ultimately I don't think he'll be too happy where he is. Latifi qualified 19th, split by the Williams was split by the Haas of Mick Schumacher, so that was promising stuff for Mick that he was able to do that. Latifi qualified 19th, finished 16th. He pulled out 3 positions by the end, but still, Williams can't be a happy place.
No, and blue blood for me. As I think of our youth watching.
Oh yeah,
we want to see them back. All right, let's finish off with MSC
with
Junior and his crowd at Haas.
Qualified 18th, finished 18th. Same as his career has been in F1 so far. Decent but unexceptional.
James,
and Hazard's been.
Yeah, please give us an update on his last.
Yeah, where's he at?
So, Spain, he spun in FP1.
Yes.
And that was it. So that takes his total up to 10 spins this season.
And they must have some respect. They are seeking independence. That was in Catalonia, not Spain. Have some respect for their independence.
It says Spain here.
No, it's not you. I'm saying that website must have some respect.
It does say Spain.
No, I'm saying the Catalans. They looking
it should
to
say Catalonia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
it should say Catalonia because they are. Do you know they have their own soccer team? James?
I do. I am aware PK is eligible to play with it, along with a couple of other
Catalans.
Catalans.
Yes.
Catalans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a whole interesting thing there. So no good, huh? Haas.
I think we must just, unless they do something exceptional, we should just stop mentioning them because
I blame Gunther.
You can't blame Gunther. I suppose you can, actually.
I do.
I mean, he's just a nice guy. I don't really want to blame him, but who else are you going to blame?
Hey, you got to blame someone. It's 2021.
I mean, we say it every time, but the fact that they came out at the beginning of the season and said, "Well, this season we're not doing anything. We're going to come last, and you almost just accept it." For me, that's unacceptable.
No,
he is quite a character. Huh?
He is quite a character. I mean, they are where they are because they've got limited resources and they've got 2 new drivers who are both rookies. So you can't expect too much, but even so, even if you're not going to try, don't tell the world that you're not going to try. Just put in some effort.
Just make it look like you're terrible.
Yeah, put in some appearance of effort.
Exactly.
Are they going to be? Listen, great race. By the way, Lewis Hamilton. By the way, if you haven't seen the move that he makes to overtake, get out of here, Lewis. What a guy. What a race.
It was. It wasn't.
So Lewis,
I wouldn't say it was a classic, but it was great to see the strategies play out, and it was good to see that Hamilton coming from behind to ultimately win quite comfortably. We kind of started the season going, well, does Red Bull have the upper hand now? Does Mercedes have the upper hand? I think it's quite clear that the Mercedes are the quicker car. They've had time to fix their issues. They've come out and they're dominating once again. And as a follow-on to that, one observation and one article I read, Lewis Hamilton is so happy. He's so happy. In his post-race interviews, he's smiling and chatty and, effusive, and he's not, he's really genuinely happy.
That's awesome.
That was, I saw that yesterday and I thought to myself, he's not going to retire. There's no reason for him to retire. If he's getting that much enjoyment out of the racing that he's doing, he's probably not going to retire. Coming out, I read an article this today. I don't know if it was a fresh article or over the weekend, but he came out and said, well, he wants to tie up his Mercedes contract for next year sooner rather than later.
Oh, bad news for everyone on Earth who drives.
So I think I'm going to have to retract my fantasy that Mercedes-Benz will be without drivers at the end of the year, because Bottas's contract does end at the end of this season. So whether they'll re-sign him, I don't know, but Hamilton almost certainly will be around for another season.
Could it be George Russell and Lewis Hamilton next season?
A double British double header.
Imagine that, huh?
Could be.
Happy Lewis. Hey,
Mr. Saturday and Mr. Sunday. You got both days of the week.
Oh,
Look at that.
there we go.
Nice pull.
You
there,
are
James.
creative, James.
Yeah. Nice pull there. I
I'm
see
so
what you.
proud of myself.
All right, Spike. We'll finish off quickly. Your thoughts on a race where nobody pays tax and lives a large.
Oh my word! It is one of the best races.
It is.
Next race, 2 weeks time, Monaco.
Oh, exciting stuff.
You know what? It's the slowest race on the circuit. There's no overtake. Well, very, very occasionally there's overtaking. But wow, I love Monaco. I love Monaco as a country. I love Monaco as a concept. And the race is marvelous.
And I've been on the tour of that track.
I've walked the track.
If
It's
there's
just
one
fantastic.
full race you watch this season, it has to be Monaco.
You're wrong. Singapore. It will happen. They water the pitch and it's a night race.
It's a night race, yeah. But I actually make an occasion out of Monaco. I have a it's a on a normal race Sunday, I'll sit down, get some snacks, maybe a beer, sit down and watch the race, whatever the case may be. But Monaco, you've got to get dressed up. You got to make an occasion of it because it's Monaco.
No, I would imagine it's
place.
the only Principality Formula One ever.
It's just brilliant. I love the place. So yeah, that is the next race. Last year it was Hamilton over Verstappen, and I don't see much changing this year. Unless maybe they water the pitch and change things up.
Yeah, got to water the pitch. That's add competition, complexity. That's what you do with smart people. Spike, good stuff.
Thank you
good
very
stuff
much.
Today. Looking forward. Lewis Hamilton, he says. I'm gonna watch it maybe just because there's a Krugersdorp lady who's involved in the whole thing.
That is correct.
She's in a
Yeah,
hell
you
of a
are
marriage
correct.
that she hates, but
You
here
don't
we are.
know that, unless you've got an open line to her.
No, I don't. But I mean, there's been the rumors that she's feeling a little trapped.
Oh.
Do you know what I believed? Always, whenever there's a rumor, I believe it immediately. I don't like to look into it, research, none of that nonsense. Yeah,
That's a good policy.
Yeah,
Just believe everything you hear.
the Rapunzel of Krugersdorp, they've called her, James. They haven't called her that. I made that up now.
I was about to say, did they call
No,
it
they
that?
didn't call her that. I did the same thing as you. Spike, good stuff. Next weekend, that was good stuff. That's big reporting from Spike
Good
Ballantyne.
stuff, Spike.
Thank you very much.
Formula One.
Always a pleasure.
Damn, Lewis Hamilton's good. He's so good.
Oh, he's annoying.
He is so good. James
Sir,
hates him.
that's sir to you,
Yeah.
actually.
I do need to have a little bit of respect.
I'll
there.
have, erasure yourself. See what I did there?
I do see what
Do
you
you?
did.
Have a little respect, huh?
Oh man, it's for those who don't get it. Erasure, great band.
That's quite a pull for a
Yeah, very
24-year-old,
good,
huh?
Very good, James. Clearly, do your parents into the what would they be? 60s, 70s music?
No, it's just my taste in music's a bit.
Are you an old soul?
It's like different. It's recent and old.
All right, it's all right. It's recent and old, you say?
Yeah.
All right, James. Let's get the music going. We're going to finish off with a little bit of social media. We'll get back to a little bit of NFL talk, and we'll take some questions from
Perfect.
the comment section.
Sweet. Right, back to the NFL. Super Bowl Sunday is a huge deal, huh?
Massive deal.
Huge.
Massive.
So what? I mean, look, I know in England football is a religion, and that's a whole thing.
Mhm.
What makes Super Bowl Sunday such a big spectacle?
I think, again, America understands the spectacle side of things. They do the show better. They're not really, the sport happens to be a part of it, but they're very clear in America. Everything's about sports entertainment. In England, again, you saw the European Super League, everyone's obsessed about keep it pure, keep the sporting side pure.
Correct.
Listen, they acknowledge that having Beyonce at halftime is a big thing. They want, the NFL is the beast of all beasts in America. They want everyone watching. It is America's biggest appointment television by a long, long way. The Super Bowl, sports entertainment at its highest, right? Halftime show. And then, listen, it's the two best teams in America's biggest sport. battling it out. So
Okay.
yeah, good
So
stuff.
a huge deal in America, yeah?
It's not really for hardcore fans. Actually, it turns into more of a. Think of it more of a. There's a concert, and it just happens that there's a football game that's happening. That's what they've turned it into. And listen, again, $120 billion. They're unapologetically about money. So
Lots of money.
lots of
in-
money,
in
big
it.
show.
Um,
And a lot of old heads complain because some people just want to watch football, but it really is for youngsters like you now, James. They really overplay the entertainment side of it.
yeah, I know this year or last year they had the weekend.
Yeah, that
as
was this last Super Bowl. Yeah,
which is very much attracting my kind of crowd.
yeah. But
Okay.
it's cool. It's sport. It is what it should be. Sports entertainment, and yeah.
Okay. Sticking with spectacles, something that I've been trying to understand for a couple of years now, is the NFL drafts. I know it happened last weekend or the weekend before.
Uh-huh.
How does it work? What does it mean when someone says, "Oh, he's a top pick for the Colts" or whatever?
Okay, so at the end of every season, every team, I mean, if you know American sports, it's all about data. You get 32 picks per round.
Each team, right?
No, each team gets one pick.
Okay.
But you can trade picks, by the way. So if you want to get a player, or sometimes in the draft, if you want a player, I'll say, okay, next season I'll give you my first round pick. But here's how it works. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. They're the best team. They pick 32nd, and that's how it is throughout the rounds, right? Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs would have been the 31st pick, etc., etc. And if you were the worst team in the league, you pick number one.
Cool.
That's how it works, right? So the worst team gets the pick at the top. Obviously, the players get rated, and it's all a little bit of media hype and lots of stats, and they look into it. But the players get rated. Number one pick, generally a quarterback. That's the best player. So ironically, the best player always actually goes to, usually, not always, the worst team. But you might say, listen, right now we've made bad decisions for 5 years. Our quarterback situation is terrible. You've got a great quarterback. I'm going to give you, San Francisco did this year. Well, actually, they moved up. So you can move up and down the draft, by the way. So they call it acquiring picks. But you might say, James's team might say, hey, you know what? We've done really badly over the last 5 years. We haven't drafted well, and our quarterback's old, and he's not the guy we thought he was going to be. But you've got, hypothetically speaking, Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the top guys, Green Bay Packers quarterback, is, how about this? I'm going to give you 3 picks from next season. It'll be my first round pick, my second round pick, and maybe a player, and my 6th round pick. So you can trade the picks like that. So next year, no matter who you are, in the first round, which is where all the best players go, you want to be picking in the top 20 to really get the best of the best. They get graded by something called PFF, Pro Football Focus, and people like that. They grade the players actually across a multiple stats. But you can have 2 first-round picks in a year if you're clever and you move up and you've acquired these picks. Here's what happened this season. San Francisco, though, very, very interesting situation. They need a new quarterback. Their guy, Jimmy Garoppolo, is always injured. He's good. Kyle Shanahan likes him. But there's a guy that they really, really wanted this year who was a quarterback guy called Trey Lance. So they said to other teams above them. So I can say to James, okay, you're picking at number 4. We think the guy we want, the very lowest he'll drop to is number 4. To get your 4, or it was to number 3. But anyway, to get to there where we think we can get him, because the media is speculation and they kind of know who needs what at the top, I'll give you my pick this year, my first round pick next season, and my first round pick in 2 years' time. How about that? And I'll give you a player, and maybe I'll give you a 6th round pick this year as well. So you can trade picks like that. Like last year, Miami, I think, had 3 first round picks. So these things can happen, and those picks are vital because you want to be picking in the top 20. That's where the 5-star players are. Although, I think only 40% of the league is drafted. 60% of the league is guys that were 6, 7 round and undrafted picks that people pick up. So just being drafted doesn't mean you're going to make it, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it comes to doing picks and being drafted, is it limited to... I know college football is a big thing.
Yes.
Is it limited to that, or can it be, I want Tom Brady from...
So that's a trade. You
Oh,
don't
so
you
that's a
don't pick
completely
him.
different
Yeah.
thing.
So if he's under contract, so I can come to you and say, hey, Tom Brady, he's amazing. I'll give you my first round pick this year, first round pick next year, and I'll give you 2 players. So generally for a great guy like that, you wouldn't want to trade picks because there is no other Tom Brady, even if you get the best rated guy.
Yeah.
What you want is like, okay, I'll take 2 of your great players. Give me 2 great. So what you want in the NFL, you want pass rushers, they get paid. You want left tackles, they protect the quarterback, and you want corners. Those are the 3 on defense. Those are the guys you want.
Okay.
So you'd say, give me your left tackle, give me a corner, and they probably want 3 first-round picks for Tom Brady. You trade for him. He's not part of it. It's only the guys coming in from college that you can pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Last one just for giggles, and then we'll jump into the YouTube comments. Why are footballs called pigskins?
I think it's because they were made of actual pigskin back in the day, and I think that's a real thing. I'd have to check that. I can't remember. I have heard the story, but I do think they were literally made of pigskin back in the day. The original stuff, yeah. I think that's what it is. I must check that though.
It says they were swollen like a chubby little piggy.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what it says. Footballs resemble a toughened pigskin, and in the game's early days, they were swollen like a chubby little piggy.
The pigskin, huh?
Okay, cool.
Oh,
I
very
have many questions about NFL, but maybe those are questions for another day because we do have to jump into comments because we do have quite a few.
Good.
Our camera battery's dying. James, you need to stay on top of these things, please.
Sure, you should.
Ridiculous. Shimmy wants to know if you tweeted about what a good person you are.
Not yet. I'm actually having the tweet planned by a social media team.
Okay.
Because you want to manage, you want to be consistent with your communication, especially with things like PR.
Sure.
So I want them to have a sort of find a language to communicate. So TBC.
TBC.
Yeah.
All right. To be confirmed. Ricka says Liverpool was a one-season wonder. The 1920 season was an exception to their normal playing abilities over the last 30 years. That season was the only season where they did not walk alone.
Listen, you have to be honest. Sometimes people think that Liverpool team was a dynasty, especially if you've been in a bad relationship for 5 years and you get into a mediocre relationship. It actually feels like you're with Prince Charming, right? Where actually, no, that's what you should be treated like. So relax, Liverpool fans, relax. It was 30 years. It was 1 title. Leicester have also won 1 title in the last however many years. Relax. It's not a dynasty. You're back to normal now. Relax.
Okay. Everyone relax.
Yeah.
Okay.
Calm down, Alex.
Good Lord.
Jeez, like.
Kutle says, my only problem with Fred is his lack of passing range.
Fair enough. Understandable. Not everybody needs to be Xabi Alonso or Tony Kroos. He has his role to play. It would be nicer if he had some passing range, but be honest. He gets the ball quickly to Bruno, and then don't worry about it.
Then Bruno
exactly
sorts it out.
He gets it quickly. What he does, he wins the ball back, and he does his role. And listen, you need those people. Claude Makelele left Real Madrid, right? And they fell apart. It's never been the same again until they had Casemiro. So those people are invaluable. He's glue. But I hear you, Guthrie, but unfortunately not everybody can be Xabi Alonso,
There you go. Ricka says, I expect a lot of newish Liverpool supporters to support Man City next season. Never, ever in my entire life.
Yeah, but you're not newish, James. You're diehard. You Steven Gerrard through and through.
The day City wins the Champions League, which will be in about 3 weeks' time, I will cry a couple of tears.
Hilarious.
It will hurt me.
Did you say City wins the Champions League?
In about 3 weeks' time.
Hilarious. What's the next question?
Zapata says the people on the sideline aren't even all the coaches in the NFL. Some are sitting in boxes with a bird's eye view of the game and then relay information to those on the ground.
True story. The most famous one of them is a guy called Ernie. He is New England Patriots, right? They're the Dark Empire. A guy called Bill Belichick. There's a really famous meme, if you go and look at it. It's just a short clip where he's walking in and these kids try and go for the high five. And, it's always like, kind of like how your brother nearly cried because of Ibn Etzebeth.
Yes.
When he didn't. But Bill Belichick, and it's got, Do you know who Vincent McMahon is? He's the
Yes.
owner, and he had some music.
Mm.
So go and look it up. Bill Belichick. Oh no, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin's music.
Okay.
When he comes in, Belichick just blanks these kids because they've got their hand out for like the high five, blanks them. Like that's what he's famous for, and he doesn't really talk. He doesn't look.
That's what he sounds like.
It's what he sounds like. Yeah, and he doesn't talk to the media, and he's like grumpy, but he's the greatest. But he's got a famous coach who everyone knows now, just like a guy called Ernie. He sits up in the stands and he's always watching with like binoculars, and he's just up there, just the empire.
Just chilling.
And
watching over his
they've
empire.
been known for this. So they've had a few incidents of pushing the rules. Yeah. Like through, because you can't record other teams' practice, and there's some stuff that they've, and Tom Brady, he got caught, allegedly did some stuff to some of the American footballs and roughed them up.
Oh, that was, what was it? Deflate Gate.
Deflate Gate. Yeah. So anyway, they've always pushed but everyone's at it. But Ernie, go and
You know
look
what
up
they're
Ernie.
doing? They're not breaking the rules. They're just testing to see the boundaries, to see how, what the elasticity of it is.
Sure. Listen, some people say if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying hard enough.
There you go. I'm quite surprised you weren't surprised with that word I used, elasticity.
Yeah, you know. Not sure you know what it means, but
I do.
We'll move on.
Anyway, we'll move on. Where were we?
Rikus Swart.
Zapeta. Rikus, yesterday, Horner should have reacted. He should have learned from the mistakes of Hungary. But once again, this is the type of strategies you can pull off when you have the fastest car.
Fair point, and aggressive always wins. So, way to go.
Rikus also says Verstappen's next move needs to be in the fastest car, whoever that might be in 2022. With all of the rule changes, no driver will ever win a championship if you're not going in the fastest car.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Kutle says, can Umbelelo explain what's happening with Juve right now?
I'll tell you what's happening.
I don't think anyone can.
No, listen, I told you the rules earlier, right? The rules is the ownership has to be stable. The family's not stable up there. Juventus, for the first time, has some rumblings up top. The son's fighting with the father. You've read what's going on there. He was part of the ESL. He was the head of the European Club Association, by the way, which was meant to represent all the clubs. All of a sudden, I'm part of the ESL thing. Oh, no. What about the 200 clubs you're meant to be representing? I forgot about that. Anyway, so there's been some rumblings there. Then you move down to the next level. The manager's rubbish. Sorry, the manager is rubbish. He's I believe, the greatest tempo controller, top 3 tempo controlling deep lying midfielders of all time, the greatest passing range you've ever seen, Andrea Pirlo. But he's rubbish. He's not mediocre, he's rubbish. Who's the captain? No one. No one knows. You can't have that. The rule is you must have ownership, deep pockets, and they are quiet. The ownership is deep pockets, but they are always involved. You can't have the son meddling all the time.
Sure.
And when Juventus were great, no one knew who the ownership family was.
Sure.
Stay out of the way. You had the great managers, Massimo Allegri and co, Antonio Conte and co, Capello and co. Great manager. And then you had, Buffon, Cannavaro, Chiellini. These were your captains. Now what's going on?
We're in a different time of football.
Listen, stability is the only way to win long term.
Sure.
And they don't have it at Juventus. Those are my thoughts. It's sad. Very, very sad.
Jesse wants to know if we can hear the music in the background, or is it just us?
It's not just you. Some terrible producing in the break, James.
That was my bad.
James left the music on.
I did. So, Jesse, if you're talking about the music at the break,
yes,
that's my bad.
Yeah, terrible.
I dropped the ball.
Terrible
It's
production.
been a busy Monday. I've been, the
no
NFL
excuses.
thing.
I know what people are saying at home. No excuses.
But
James.
look,
nobody cares about your excuses.
I take responsibility. I dropped the ball.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
I suck at everything I do.
No, I wouldn't go that far. You've gone too far the other way, because that's also not true. Feedback has to be accurate. You don't suck at everything you do. You just, this was not good enough.
I have it. I dropped the ball. I could be better.
The nice thing about dropping the ball, you can always pick it back up.
There you go.
James Ellingsley, big production.
Good stuff.
Good guy, good beard, douchebag glasses. I'm not going to change that line, but superb flow. You got the hair going today, James. Did you condition it this weekend? I didn't compliment you on it.
I did condition it this weekend, and then I also trimmed my beard.
Get out of here, James. You look like you just walked off the cover of a GQ page. Honestly, the flow is mental. The hair is sick, bro. Jimbo, good show today.
Good stuff. Good Monday show, huh?
Good show today. Before we go, if you're on YouTube, please click like before you go. If you're thinking to yourself, I'm big time, I can only listen later, I work hard, I don't know what you're doing with your life, probably want to listen on a podcast, you're probably going, I'm going to go on my phone, subscribe to Cliff Central Sport, and then you go on and go, oh, I'm big time, but I've made a mistake here, because it's actually, the podcast is the MKT Show. It's tricky. You're on Cliff Central Sport on YouTube. It's so tricky. Hey, go and rate us, James. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. Rate us. Great show. James's hair is unbelievable. MKT has phenomenal skin. Thank you. I mean,
Thanks, James, for educating us on the NFL.
Yeah, NFL's great. Thanks for talking about the NFL. MKT, do you know everything? Because you knew who Peter Van den Hoogenband was. How do you know that? How did you know that? These are the comments you can leave. It's phenomenal that MKT has actually been to the World Sauna Championships. A lot of people don't know that.
That is incredible.
But I have been there. I knew about it. James didn't think I'd know about that. Halfway through his question, I knew the country he was talking about. So these are the comments you can leave. Do that and rate us. Give us a 5-star. Otherwise, cliffcentral.com, Cliff Central app, or wherever you get your podcasts at the MKT Show. You can get the podcast there. Once again, smash a like before you go on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is MKT. This is the MKT Show. And for today, we are the hell out of here.